So, all right, here at Crustys Addict with Ben Breiding. First of all, Ben, that is how you say it, right?
That is correct. Yes, Ben Breiding nailed it.
All right.
I know it's not Ben Breiding, even though that's kind of funny too, But no, it's not. It's Breiding. Yeah.
Breiding.
German. It's one of the German tricky names, with the I before E don't mean shit.
Yeah.
So.
That's awesome, man, for sure. So I guess let's start with how did you get involved with Crustys?
Well, I think you got one of your rare nights out, with kid-free night, right? And then you came over and saw us at down the road at Forster's, and you were like, I got to get these guys in. And then we all came back here that night and hung out, had a great time, and I think we were up within the month, or really shortly thereafter, playing outside, and I mean, we hit it off right away. We got a lot of the same mutual friends and stuff, and it was like, what do they call it, kindred spirit, and then Dad out there hustling, mutual respect for you, man. It's good to see, what you've created here and like the vibe, and I love coming here, man. It's just like, it just feels like a very comfortable. It's like a home place, It's like you walk in and you just like, I don't know. I don't feel like I have to be anybody when I'm here, You go certain places and you feel like you got to be somebody, that isn't who you are necessarily, and it's like, I love that I can bring my kids here too and like play with your daughter and stuff. Like that's just super cool. And I don't know, one of the thing that really stuck with me when we first met, and I was kind of admiring what you were doing. You were like, well, where I'm from, there's two things that bring people together, and that's music and food. And so I make sure I got good aspects of both of those things going on in my place. And I was like, that's the fucking way to be, man. So yeah. So yeah, and then that was a couple years ago, right, or more. And then we've been trying to come up at least I try to come up once a quarter and be here, because I've been coming up to McCall since I was a kid, and so now it's nice to have another reason to come up here even more. So.
I'm just double check, make sure we're recording for
man.
Everybody before we get going too deep. Looks like we are.
All right.
So
take two. No.
When I've got people here, I try to take watch all these other podcasts and stuff.
Yeah.
And Sean Ryan.
He's a badass.
Yeah, he's awesome, man,
I love
right?
him.
And he always gives people a gift, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, well, we'll start with that. And so
dude.
Since I'm into like smoking meats and stuff right now, this is a pastrami that I made.
Dude, thank you so much.
Yeah, my first go at it.
Sweet.
It's a 3.5 week brine, and then you smoke it till it's all cooked off and all that stuff, man.
That's awesome.
So we just pulled that out like last week.
Cool, dude. Man, this won't last long at my house for sure. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Sweet.
Well, on you like coming up to McCall and being in McCall. So I mean, you're what, fourth, fifth generation?
Yeah, fifth that
Idaho?
I know of. Yeah, for sure. I know on my dad's side, my great grandpa came out here when he was, I think it was in 1901, and he was born in Missouri and came out here with his, my great-great-grandfather. And then when he got here, he married my grandma, and she was born, married my great-grandma, and she was born here, and her family got here in 1890. And so that was like the year Idaho became a state, like went from a territory to a state,
That's wild.
And so that was super cool. But they came over from France, like, before that, and they were gonna go, I want to say they were gonna go somewhere in South America, like Argentina or something, but they got here and were like out of money, and we're like, we can't do anything. And at that time, Idaho, they were trying to get people to move to Idaho, and if you went there and just worked land, it was yours. But I think it was like 5 years, you had to like be like working the land, and then they gave it to you. And so they were like, well, let's go do that. And so they had like a lot of farmland there, and now it's all houses and shit. But it was cool. It was cool. I got to spend a little bit of time out on some of that farmland as a young lad, but it's pretty cool, man. It's neat to like have that much family history here. I'm really thankful that I met my wife in North Idaho though, where I didn't have any family. Because unfortunately, I've met
don't
like,
want to run into
you don't want to, yeah, dude, you know, you don't want that family tree to keep, you know, going out and not going back in. I want it to be a family bush, you know, because I have met cousins unknowingly several times. Most recently was actually here. We were playing here, and this guy came up to me and was like, "Dude, you're awesome. I got my shirt." And he's like, "I just moved back into town not too long ago." And you know, he told me his last name, and I was like, "Oh, dude, like we're related." And he's like, "No way." And I told him who my grandma was, and that was his aunt, and he was just like, it was so cool. And just
don't win the lottery, dude.
Yeah, no shit.
You're gonna have people coming at you.
Yeah, from everywhere, all
place.
angles, dude. But it was so cool. And then, strangely enough, like his dad lives like right around the corner from me too. You know, like I found that out as well, and it was just really weird. And then he like, you know, walked away and went and told his girlfriend, you know, the story. And then she's like, "Well, I gotta go meet him." And so she came over and started talking to me too. And then I made the joke about how like I was, you know, I'm glad I met my wife in North Idaho because I don't, you know, same thing to her. And she's like, "Well, yeah, you got to be careful up there too. Like everybody knows everybody." She's like, "I'm from Coeur d'Alene," and I was like, "No shit." I lived in Coeur d'Alene for like, you know, 7 years, and she was like, "Oh, well, do you know what school did you go to?" And I told her, she's like, "Oh, well, you're a little older than me, but do you know this person?" And like, she's my best friend, and the girl that she brought up was like the younger sister of one of my friends. And if I didn't know that guy, I wouldn't have met my wife because that's how, and it was just like the connections were like so deep there. Yeah. And so it's like when your family, my family's been in the state for, you know, 130 something years. Yeah. It's like, it's hard not to run into that all the time. And it's really cool though. I like it. And I think it's important. Like my family does a family reunion for the big extended family every year, and this year was the 102nd annual or something crazy like that. So like 102 consecutive years of a family reunion. They even did one in COVID, like with 7 people. They had like representatives from like each family, or maybe 6. I can't remember what It's so funny though, but yeah. Family history runs deep, you know. Yeah. So
how do you find that affects your songwriting?
Well, I don't know. I'm pretty, I'd say pretty sentimental, you know, and family's important to me and stuff too. And so I definitely pull from that well for writing, and have written quite a few songs about, you know, family experience in the state and stuff too. And I even got one written about, like, I haven't played it a ton, performed it a ton, but one written about like some old family shotguns, you know, and that I have, and like the stories that they could tell if they could talk, you know, and because there's great family stories with these old shotguns, you know, like my great uncle they'd only let him go out hunting by himself because he was at 7. They'd let him go out hunting at 7 years old with this shotgun, like 12 gauge. And he could only go by himself and with the dog because he was too squirrely. And when they were shooting pheasants, he might shoot somebody else by accident, and I wouldn't be safe. So he can go by himself. So they'd send the 7-year-old, and I'm like, dude, I have a 6-year-old right now, and like the thought of sending him like outside with a shotgun, with a 12-gauge shotgun, and my dog, and being like, "Good luck, hope you come back," you know. And it's like, holy shit. Yeah. And he lived a long, full life too. He made it, you know. I was like, holy shit. So
learn how to hunt in the beginning with all of it, you know. That's rad.
I know, it's so cool.
So when you write a song, what usually comes first? Like, are you looking at like the lyrics, the melody, like?
It's usually, for me, for the longest time, it's always been the guitar first. It's like I'll be playing guitar and I'll have a part or chords or something, and then it's almost like you just kind of have to like let a stream of consciousness go, where I'll just kind of start singing and get a melody, and it might not make sense, and then I'll just like say something like a line or something will come out that I'm like, whoa, what was that? And then I'm like, well, what was that about? And then it might start to kind of spiral from there. Yeah. It sounds like Ouija boarding it, you know, almost, you know, or just like, I'm just gonna open my mouth and see what comes out, and then kind of start going from there. And I found that like, so it's usually a guitar, melody, and then the lyrics, you know, after that. And if I can do it in one sitting, it's usually the best version of it. But if I have to like come back to it, it's like, it's almost harder to like pull that. Yeah. And I've heard from a lot of different, like, you know, songwriters I look up to too, where it's like you feel like you're almost like a a conduit or a vessel or something for that song, like they're just out there swirling around in the ether, and if you have the abilities to channel that and get it out, do it and do it right then and there, and if you can't, it might go to somebody else or something, and I always thought that was a cool way to look at it too, because it's not like, it's so hard to just like go, okay, I woke up this morning, I'm gonna have my coffee, I'm gonna go sit down, I'm gonna write a song. Right. I can plan to go sit down and play guitar and to work on what I have, and then hopefully something will decide to come out, song will fall out of me.
Creep in somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. But I feel like the best times, the times that I can write the best, and I bet a lot of artists will agree, it's when you like feel the shittiest, or something, going through something, or there's like a lot of emotions swirling around inside of you. It's like, it's so hard to write like songs when things are just fucking good, you know? So luckily in this day and age for us songwriters, not a whole lot of shit's fucking good. So but no, it's there's a lot of beauty in this world for sure, man. And I try to I don't want to be somebody that's like, can't find that with my songwriting too. As depressing as some songs can be, we all feel those emotions, and I got to try to remind myself too that there's the light as well as the darkness, too, and got to pull from that as well. But it's hard to write a song without a minor chord, too.
For sure.
Sounds way too fucking happy.
So you have this real kind of distinct baritone. Is that something that you like always had? I mean, of course, like your voice, but like that's something that a style that you have to develop with that.
I don't know. I think a friend of mine helped me kind of lean into it a little bit more. Where I learned how to sing just playing punk rock music, and I wouldn't call it singing, but like just how to project, how to be loud, how to be heard when we're running through our vocals through a shitty little speaker, and the band's way louder, and it's like I had to learn how to have some power behind my voice, and I feel like I maybe tried to mimic more of the higher, range of vocals that people that I listened to at the time, and it wasn't until like later when I'm fluctuating in various ranges of what I can do. One of my friends, was kind of encouraged me to lean into the lower range that I can do, and he's like, not a lot of people can go that low, without it sounding weird, and so. You just really try to do it, and for me it felt like it was easy. It was like too easy, at first. Like it was kind of like I felt like I was straining more when I would try to hang out in the higher ranges and stuff. And then when I actually tried to sing more in the lower range, it was easier. And I guess I kind of just started running with that a little bit more. But I could still get high, baby.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So. About 14 years with Parade of Bad Guys?
Yeah, 14 years of that band. That was a good time with a lot of different members and stuff over time. And I think at the tail end of the 14 years when my original bass player, left, and it was like, okay, well, I'm the only guy left that started this band, and why are we still going by Parade of Bad Guys, and I'm trying to play solo shows and stuff too, and I was doing that for a couple years, and as Parade of Bad Guys solo show or Parade of Bad Guys duo, and I felt like I got tired of at the shows being like, hey, my name's Ben Breiding, I also have a band, come check it out, it's like the same songs but with a band, and I just was like, at a certain point, it was actually my other guitar player, Tyler McFarland, that just said, hey man, you thought about
kind of diluting what you had the last 14 years.
Yeah, but he just said, can you, he's like, why don't we just have you thought about just dropping the name and the band name, and we just go by your name and like Ben Breiding Band or Ben Breiding and or something, he's like, you write most of the songs, everybody contributes their parts and to the arrangements and everything too, always, with the band, but he was like, it'd be a lot easier for doing solo gigs and band stuff, and it seemed to be a lot of the people that, I like and stuff too musically. I feel like are going by their name more so than a band too.
Yep.
And especially with the style of stuff that I do, which is more of a songwriter based thing too. So I don't know.
Doing a little. I've just known you personally, and doing a little research. There's these things that come up that are talk about rowdy. you're rowdy, dude. You're rabble rouser.
Yeah.
What else did you know? Another one's like talk about your rowdy shows. You know, it's like so. I mean, you're here performing, doing your thing with your like acoustic and all that, but like outside of this, when you're like doing some of those shows, like, do I need to come see that, dude?
Yeah,
There's,
I mean,
like,
I guess it
kind of
depends.
like punk influence.
Yeah,
you
that
know?
was where I got my start for sure. And I guess it depends on the venue and depends on what's going on, you know, too. Like if when we're here and people are eating and enjoying their food and shit, I probably don't want to say too many terrible things or be as obnoxious as like, I don't really like it when my kids are talking about farts during dinner either, you know, so try to be a little respectful there.
You got songs about farts?
Well, no, but I might just talk about them, or say something weird, or I don't know. I love. I've been told by people that like, dude, you should do stand-up comedy, and I'm like, I can think of funny shit to say, and if my joke doesn't land, though, I can just play a song real quick, you know. And I feel like doing stand-up comedy would be a little harder. I'd be like, oh man,
I got connections in that world down there.
It's I love like the banter in between songs when you see a live band and stuff too, and I like just getting reactions out of people. Not that I'm trying to like piss people off or anything, but it's fun to like. I don't know. I love seeing a show and I love listening to music and stuff. But like when a band or an artist or anybody has like good banter in between songs, like that was always something to me. Like at a young age that I was like
crowd work.
Yeah, and I was like, so that's something I've always strived to do. And so yes, there had been shows where I probably got too drunk and said too much, or was probably a little out there at times, and so. I don't mind that hangs on because it still comes back sometimes, and I do have to be reminded every once in a while that there's children here and you shouldn't be swearing so much. And I try to be a little bit more conscious. I'm 39 now, so I try to keep that in mind at certain places. Like we were on tour a year or two ago, and we were playing on this like big brewery in somewhere in Northern California. I can't even remember where, but. It was huge, and it was outside. We're on this big stage, and there was just families everywhere, and people drinking and hanging out, and it was just a good time. And I was having too much of a good time, and just started swearing and saying funny, stupid shit. And my guitar player was like, "Dude, you should probably cool it, man. There's like a lot of kids here, like don't be swearing so much." And I got on the mic and was like, "Look, my buddy over here doesn't have kids telling me how to talk in front of fucking kids here." I'm like, "I got 2 kids. I swear in front of those little shits all the time," and just being obnoxious. And then the manager like comes up to the front of the stage. He's like, "Dude, can you lay off the F-bombs? There's like a lot of kids here." I was like, fuck. It's like tail between my legs, And Tyler, my guitar player, is like, "I told you," and I'm like, "Sorry," So I totally deserve that. But I think that was one of the pivotal moments for me where I was like, I probably should like play to my crowd a little bit more, because it's fun to go out and be obnoxious and loud and rowdy and stuff too. But there's a time and a place for it, I guess.
That's good.
I tried to cool it a little bit in front of the children or at the restaurants, So, but.
So what's something that you're working on right now that you're excited about?
Something that I'm excited about. I started a YouTube channel with my cousin. With my ducks. I have like a ton of ducks that I take care of, that raise in my house.
What's the YouTube channel?
It's called The Mighty Duck Man.
Okay, awesome.
Which she asked me, she's like, "What do you want to call it?" And I was like, Mighty Duck Man, which, Night at the Roxbury, Will Ferrell. Yeah. Like their story was about meeting Emilio Estevez, they kept telling The Mighty Duck Man, and I was like, I thought that, and plus I love those movies as a kid too. And my cousin, Tiffany, she's an amazing graphic artist, and she's like involved in theater, the Boise Bard players, and does some really cool stuff. And she was over with her partner Chris and her daughter, and she was like, we were hanging out and laughing and watching my ducks, and I was, making them laugh. And she's like, if you were to start a YouTube channel or a social media with your ducks, she's like, you'd probably have like 1 million followers in no time, like if you did it. She's like, you're so funny, and plus like this, homesteading shit's hot right now. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, but then I'd have to like manage all that shit, and I don't want to do that. I'm like, I can't even manage my social media and shit for my band. Like if you, if anybody goes and checks it out, I'm not very good at that. I'm good at songwriting and good at performing, but that shit is a whole nother beast. A lot
of people don't realize that, like when it's a business.
It is. It's 100%. Yeah.
And you're running your own business. You don't like You don't have the marketing person. You don't have the CPAs. You don't have all.
Oh my God.
You're doing all that stuff.
And
yourself.
it's so hard as a creative too to like find that as well too. At least for me, you know, to like to do it all. You know, it's hard. And so my cousin though is an amazing marketing whiz, graphic designer. I mean, she's like really gone through the ins and outs of like what works and algorithm shit with social media. And I was like, well, if you want to team up and do this with me and like help run it and, you know, with your know-how, I was like, if this comes to anything that we would ever, you know, make money on, we'll just split it 50-50, you know, be a little family business here, you know, and it's just fun. So we get together once a week in the morning, have some coffee and hang out and maybe shoot some videos, and it's so fun. And then we make our week's worth of videos, and then we post them, or we schedule them to post on all 4 of our socials, which is like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And then
that's the Mighty Duck.
The Mighty Duck Band, yeah. And so we started doing that, and so it's just like stupid videos, and I do some like, you know, a few like informative things, a few just like me talking shit to my ducks, and you know, and a few like, you know, it's fun stuff. And within a week, on the 7 videos on there, I had more views on those 7 videos than I think my band videos had in 10 years on YouTube.
Sure.
You know, and I'm like, that's so funny.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, I mean, dude, when I'm scrolling through social media or reels or whatever you call it, shorts, whatever social media you're on, and some dude with an acoustic guitar is playing a song, I'm just like, click, next. You know, I like it's gonna take me a while before I'm gonna like stop and watch somebody play music like on social media for some reason. And I've found that same thing. It's like it's you know, and it's a numbers game too. Like you, for any social media thing too, with music or whatever, it's like you got to post every fucking day.
Yep.
And like, so, and with a lot of the band accounts that I see that are successful, they don't rarely post anything like with their songs.
Yep.
It's them doing something funny or like, you know, them on tour. It's like the process behind the music.
Exactly.
You know, which is cool. And now that I'm learning all this shit from my cousin with this other thing, I'm like, well, shit, I could apply that to my band stuff as well. Yes. But then I had to do that all myself too. Yeah. So my grand scheme here is that I am going to amass a shitload of followers with my funny little duck page, and then all of a sudden I'm gonna have a ton of followers, and I'm gonna go, oh, by the way, check out this dope ass song I wrote, and then all these followers
play to your ducks.
that are exactly, or I'll write some stupid duck song, and then I'll post it, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, by the way, I have an album too of like real music, you know, and then these million people that have been following me or whatever, you know, this is my manifestation I'm happening, and then that's gonna be my conduit to be successful in music, because like there's so many people out there trying to do exactly what I'm doing, you know, and like it's a fucking lottery. You know, to like make it in music, and there's like different degrees of that too. You know,
you gotta hit it hard too. Man.
You do, and like I think that like being successful in music can mean a lot of things. Like I haven't had a job in a few years. You know, and I've able to just play some solo shows, and my wife works part-time doing gardening, and I get to spend a shitload of time with my kids.
That's killer.
And it's so cool. And it's like, you know, they're only gonna be kids for a little while, and that's like really cool. I get to bring them to shows sometimes, like here, you know.
They're only gonna want to come to shows for so long.
Yeah, totally. And I'm hoping that I'll, you know, bank up so much time that by the time they're teenagers, they'll still be like, all right, you're cool. We can still hang. I'll still go to your show, you know.
Think so. At least they'll come up here.
Exactly. So
keep that going.
But yeah, so that's just, you know, been a fun little extracurricular creative activity to do, is just because I'm already out there taking care of the ducks anyway. I might as well throw up a camera and get some views too. And it's crazy, man. There's like tons of people out there doing that shit. Homesteading's huge right now too. You know, everybody's all about that, because like they're kind of looking at the, you know, imminent.
Well, they think it's glorious.
Yeah. Well, it's hard ass work.
It's so much harder.
It's so fucking hard. Yeah. You know, but it's like, you know, I want to get to that point.
I want some cows. I want some this. I want some that. And and then they get rowdy. Man.
Yeah.
So you gotta be there to take care, like really take care of them.
Yeah.
It's like,
totally.
So the Mighty Duck Man.
Mighty Duck Man.
All right,
yep, it's out there. It's some funny. There's some funny ones out there too. It's some good stuff.
So we're just gonna do some rapid fire questions here, and then we'll do a couple closing questions.
Yeah, man.
So what's the strangest song idea you've ever seriously considered writing?
Oh, well, I've written quite a few. I wrote a song about Pac-Man, if he was a person, you know. I was smoking a lot of weed. This was like when I wrote that. I mean, I still do, but I was then too, you know. But
right.
yeah, I wrote
All right.
Pac-Man.
If your music could play in any movie scene, what would it be?
Oh, in any movie scene? Oh God, that's a tough one. I mean, it'd be rad. Like any movie, like past, present.
Yeah.
Oh, like maybe like a cantina in Star Wars or something. That'd be dope.
There you go. What's your go-to dive bar?
Oh, go-to dive bar. Oh, I don't get out a whole lot anymore. What's considered a dive bar?
Yeah.
I know back in the day.
Like Black Cat.
I know.
Like that would be,
Yeah, I know.
Now,
Pengillies is too fancy to be a dive bar. I do like
Yeah.
going down there, but Vista's a nice little hangout too sometimes up there. It just, God, Cactus used to be fun back in the day when you roll into Cactus and get a $2 whiskey or something and like, try to.
I heard they went to taking cards now. So
Man.
Favorite Idaho landmark?
Oh. We just went to a very unknown or not very known one. This oldest cedar tree, like in the state, or probably like other than the sequoias and redwoods. It was in Elk River, and we went and saw this I think it was like 3,000-year-old tree.
Wow.
It was insane. It was like the biggest fucking tree other than the redwoods that I've been around, and it was like the coolest spot. And there's only Elk River. You can only drive into it and drive out. There's like no other way. And then you got to take dirt roads. Highly recommend it. And the most silent place I've ever been in the woods. Like it was dead silent, like ears ringing silent.
Yeah.
Like crazy, super cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So where can my listeners find you? Where can they follow you?
YouTube. I've got one video up there that's pretty recent. Ben Breiding Band. There is some older music under Parade of Bad Guys that's out there still on all the streaming services. I've got Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff too. I'm gonna try to be better about releasing some music, and I've just got done recording some acoustic songs too, just me and my guitar. That'll hopefully be out later this year, and got a few videos in the hopper to put out too. But those are the places, the regular old social media, and hopefully I'll be out playing a little bit more now. I'm trying to get back out there and spend more time doing what I love too. So.
And the Mighty Duckman.
And the Mighty Duckman too. That'll be out there too. Yeah, you can find that. Yeah.
Sweet, man. Well, awesome, bro. Well, appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much, and for the gift too, man.
Great.
You're the man, dude.
Yeah.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Yeah. Sweet.
Hell yeah.